You're live. This is the Aaron Zero Show podcast, November 1. Welcome to November 1. And here we go. Here are the headlines. Trump pushes false election fraud claims as J-Lo, that's Jennifer Lopez, joins Harris on stage. Both candidates held late rallies in the western states with showing that the race is neck and neck between Trump and Harris. Spain mourns as death toll passes 150 in catastrophic floods. At least 158 people have died in Spain's worst flooding disaster in decades as rescuers race to find victims. And they had a lot of rain in Spain in about 4 hours. Hidden sugars in Asia's baby food spark concerns. A plane fails to land amidst fierce typhoon in Taiwan. Monkeys will never type Shakespeare. Study finds a popular thought experiment knows the infinite monkey theorem is debunked by Austrian researchers. North Korea has fired a banned missile in longest test flight yet, shows that it's building weapons that fire further and higher, and it's supposed to be an ICBM missile that they have uh, fired there, the North Koreans. The Israel strikes historic Lebanese city of Baalbek after ordering evacuations. So Israeli bombing continues. Tens of thousands flee as Israeli military say it struck fuel depots belonging to Hezbollah. US warns Israel over Gaza aid as deadline nears. Deliveries are at the lowest monthly level decides despite a US threat to cut some military assistance. So Israel is still getting US military assistance and, of course, using those bombs and missiles to attack Lebanon and bombing that area. What is UNRWA and why has Israel banned it? The agency provides aid for Palestinians in Gaza and elsewhere and has been criticized by Israel. But it is the lifeline for Gazans there, the UNRWA, and people in war-torn Gaza are already struggling with deep humanitarian crisis, but now they fear it will get more difficult. Lebanon says 60 killed in Israel strikes on Eastern Valley. Lebanese health ministry said that 58 were wounded in Bekaa Valley with rescue efforts underway. What else do we hear? So Russian drones hunt civilians, evidence suggests, and it appears to show drone strikes on civilians. Now, who is ahead in the US elections? Election was initially a rematch of 2020, but it was upended in July when President Joe Biden ended his campaign and endorsed Kamala Harris. The big question now is will America get its first women president or second Donald Trump term? So, who is leading? Just now, Kamala Harris has a small lead over Trump in national polling averages since she entered the race at the end of July, and she remains ahead as shown with She's leading by 1% exactly. She saw a bounce in her polling numbers in the first few weeks of her campaign, building a lead of nearly 4 percentage points towards the end of August. The polls were relatively stable in September and early October, but they have tightened in the last couple of weeks, as shown now. And now, as far as who is winning in the swing states, it uh, Trump has a lead of one vote in Nevada, one vote in Pennsylvania. Then Harris has a lead of less than one in Wisconsin and Michigan. Then Trump is leading in North Carolina by one vote, Georgia 2 votes, and Arizona 3 votes, as per the poll. In Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and North Carolina, the lead has changed a few times since the start of August, but Trump has a small lead in all of them at the moment. In three other states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, Trump has led since the start of August, sometimes by 2 or 3 points, but polls have tightened significantly, and Trump now has a very small lead in Pennsylvania. All three of those states have been Democratic strongholds before Trump turned them red on his path to winning the presidency in 2016. Biden retook them in 2020. And if Harris can do the same, she will be on course to win the election. So it's a very close race in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada. And Biden was behind in the earlier race by 4.5% points when he dropped out. As the chart shows, it's a key state for both campaigns and has the highest number of electoral votes of the seven, and therefore winning it makes it easier to reach 270 because Pennsylvania has 19 electoral votes as per their system. So the polls have underestimated support for Trump in the last two elections, and national polling error in 2020 was the highest in 40 years. So there's good reason to be cautious about them going into this year's elections. The polling miss in 2016 was put down to voters changing their minds in the final days of the campaign, and because college educated voters were more likely to support Hillary Clinton, had been overrepresented in the polling averages. So, so it's a very tight race and close race just now, what we see. And now we go to the Indian news. Let us just. So, as per our Indian news, Dalal Street gains investors become richer by 1.5 trillion since last Diwali, and 40 years after the riots, wounds are still raw in Delhi's Budhwa colony. Several devotees injured in Karnataka. Singapore dollars worth 9 crore found in van. And Delhi air quality is again in the severe category, between 300 and 400, as a result of last night's firecracker bonanza. And though people were told by the government, Delhi government, not to burst the firecrackers, they went ahead and did it anyway in large numbers. And today, being the 1st of November, possibly tonight also, there will be firecrackers in large numbers. And what do we have here? So investors became richer by 1.5 trillion since last Diwali. Stock market ended the Samrat year 2080 that follows one of the Indian calendars as a negative note, with the Sensex down 553 points at 79,389, near its 3 month low level. On the NSE, Nifty closed lower at 24,205 points, down 136 points. The closing month of the year saw strong selling by foreign funds that shaved off about 6% from each of the leading indices. This, however, was in contrast to the gains in the stock market that also created wealth at an unprecedented pace. Consider this: since last Diwali, on November 12th, wealth in India has jumped rupees 128 lakh crores, about 1.5 trillion at current exchange rate, to 453 lakh crores. So it has made this year the biggest wealth creating year on records. The gains came on back of a stable government at the center, smart handling of inflationary scenario despite geopolitical uncertainty, strong macroeconomic fundamentals, and record inflows by domestic funds, which was 4.7 lakh crore according to Kotak Securities. Despite the geopolitical concerns, domestic events like elections, a good monsoon, strong macro indicators, and SEBI's continuous efforts to protect investors have all contributed to a robust and promising market system. Notably, we've seen a surge of eager new investors keen to be part of India's growth story, and NSC, the country's leading boss, said that its investor base had crossed 20 crore. And in mutual fund sector, while the total assets managed by the industry was at about 68 lakh crore, monthly gross inflows through the systematic investment plan was nearing the 25,000 crore mark. All three numbers are at high levels. This year also saw gold, the most loved precious metal amongst Indians, move to record position in terms of annual returns compared to silver's 37%. Gold was 33%. Popular investment opportunities: Bitcoin with a return of 72% was the best performing asset class. On the other side of the return spectrum, rupee and crude oil barely generated any return. Year was also witness to an unusual event when the opposition parties were gunning for SEBI chief's resignation on the backs of conflict of interest that the head denied. So the coming year, Samra 281, could be a challenging year for Indian equities. And that is what we have just now in the main news. So we wish you a wonderful day. And if you have enjoyed our input, please do subscribe to the Aaron Zero Show. We also have news shorts at the Aaron Local channel, Aaron Local channel. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Thank you.